Imagine that you're going to sell some used furniture and you're not sure how to arrive at a fair price. Would it be best not to set a price and simply ask for someone's best offer? Or should you price the furniture at an attractive discount and hope someone recognizes a good deal? How can you optimize your sale? Well, according to Chapter 11 of Thinking, Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman, the answer is very straightforward. You should not wait for someone to make a blind offer, and you should not list at a deep discount. Rather, you should be the first mover in the negotiation and set a price that you expect the buyer to adjust downward. When you set the initial price, even if it is higher than what you expect to get, you create a mental anchor from which the negotiations begin. And by the way, if you're the buyer and the price the seller wants is worlds apart from what you think is fair, don't make a wildly low counteroffer. You're better off walking away and encouraging the seller to connect with you when they're prepared to set a more reasonable price to negotiate from. But why? Psychologists refer to this dynamic as anchoring, and it shows how our minds tend to create estimates and adjustments from numbers we are exposed to when creating estimates, even if those numbers are not specifically related to the computation at hand. For example, consider these two questions. Is the height of the tallest redwood tree more or less than 1,200 feet? And what is your best guess about the height of the tallest redwood tree? Researchers found that when the questions were asked this way, the average guess at the tallest redwood tree was about 844 feet. But when the questions were asked this way, is the height of the tallest redwood more or less than 180 feet? And what is your best guess about the height of the tallest redwood tree? The average estimate was only 282 feet. Now, what is going on? The first question becomes the mental anchor from which people make their educated adjustments. People adjusted down from the high of 1,200 feet and adjusted up from the low of 180 feet. But again, anchoring even has an impact when the number is wholly unrelated to the issue at hand. Researchers asked a group of experienced German judges to review the case file of a woman who was caught shoplifting. Then a pair of loaded dice were rolled that would either show a sum of 3 or 9. The judges were then asked if they would sentence the woman to more or less than the sum of the dice roll. The results were fascinating. The judges who rolled 9s gave an average sentence of 8 months, and the judges who rolled 3s gave an average of 5 months. A dice roll has nothing to do with sentencing, but it became a mental anchor from which experienced judges issued a sentence. Think about it this way. Have you ever seen a product at a grocery store on sale but with a sign that limits the quantity per customer? What happens in your mind? You think, this deal must be good and I will make a purchasing decision in reference to the max quantity per customer. And you wouldn't be alone. Studies have shown that when a sign says a limit of 12 cans per customer, for example, the average purchase was 7 cans. But when there was no sign about any limit per customer, the average purchase was only 3 cans per customer. The lesson of anchoring is clear. Be aware of how this may be used against you as a consumer or in a negotiation, and feel free to use these principles to gain an advantage when you are trying to maximize your profits.